Hello children, you all are welcome to the class, science class. So let's have a quick recap of the chapter that we have done. In the previous class, we have discussed about the different sources of the food that makes us available of different types of food. We have discussed the different plant sources. We have discussed that what plants gives us. We have discussed what animals gives us. And then we discussed that how animals are divided into different groups according to the type of food they eat, that are herbivorous, carnivorous and omnivorous. So we started with the herbivorous. Those are plant eaters and they have flat sharp cutting teeth. They have broad back molars for grinding. Okay, and we discussed that they eat only the grass, leaves, plants part, and they do mastication. They bring the food back again in the mouth and do proper chewing. Now there is one fact given in your book that these herbivorous use their teeth very much. Okay, so they gets worn out, they breaks, but there is a magic thing in the herbivorous is that it's a very amazing fact for you that their teeth gets repaired continuously by its own. Like it's not a problem because their if one teeth gets broken, again they get it back. So in the whole lifetime, like in our case, in the human's case, we have two set of teeth, temporary and permanent. After the permanent teeth has come out, and if it breaks, it will not come back. But in the case of herbivorous, it may come out again. Okay, now we will begin with the next topic, that is the excuse me, that is the carnivorous. As you know that carnivorous means the meat eaters. So the animals that eat other animals are known as carnivorous. You will write this definition in your notebook. Excuse me. Animals that eat other animals are known as carnivorous. For example, lions, wolves, eagles. Okay. Now, since they are meat eaters, so their requirement in the mouth will be different. Like they will have sharp pointed teeth. In this we include many carnivorous animals and some carnivorous birds also. The animals will have sharp pointed teeth to tear the flesh, and the birds will have the sharp pointed beaks to tear the meat. Now you can see this is the mm, portion of the of a eagle, of a hawk. You can see that this is an eagle. Now you can see that there is a sharp pointed beak of the eagle. Okay, now you can see this lion's the sharp teeth which helps to grab the prey and tear the meat to eat it. Okay, now even the snake is called as a carnivorous. They have very small teeth inside their mouth, but they use their teeth only to swallow the prey as a whole. They don't grind inside their mouth, they just swallow it. Okay, next is the, you can see the type of teeth they have. They have long canines. It is called as canines. Even in us also the canines are present. Okay, the canines are the tearing teeth for us also, but they have longer canines in them. Okay, now you have frogs. Frogs are also carnivorous because they eat insects. So frogs are having long sticky tongue. In this picture you can see that it has a long sticky tongue which helps it to catch the prey from the distance. It just moves the tongue, it sticks and it brings back to the in the mouth. Snakes on the other hand swallow their prey as a whole and they have small teeth. This is what the discussion was for the carnivores. Then we have the next category is the omnivores. Omni means all. So the animals that eat both plants and animals are called as omnivores. You can see we include us also in the omnivores. Like we eat plants, we eat flesh also, meat, chicken, everything. So that type of animals who have both the type of food eaters are called as omnivores. Now omnivores, so you can see that in us we have the incisor sharp cutting teeth also, we have canines also to tear the meat. So our mouth is also designed in that way that we have both the type of teeth to chew the food, to grind the food, to tear the food. Okay. Next, we say that crows and cockroaches. Crows and cockroaches are also omnivores. Okay. Now, next category in the omnivores. Some of the carnivores and omnivores are kept in this category. Scavengers. Scavengers are different from carnivores and omnivores because they do not kill the animals. When these animals die, they consume their dead bodies. So we call it as dead body eaters. So some carnivores and omnivores do not kill other animals for the food. They consume the meat of animals that are already dead. So vultures, hyenas, crows, jackals will be included in the scavengers. But some of the animals are not included in the scavengers also. They get the food from the other's body, living body. They are called as parasites. What are parasites? Which depend on other living animals for their food. So I have given two examples, pictures here. One is the mosquito, other is the tapeworm. Okay, so what they do, the mosquito is, they have a sharp pointed tube. They have a sharp pointed tube. They pierce our skin with that pointed tube, that is called as proboscis. What are they called? Proboscis. And through that they suck the blood from our body. Through that blood they get the food. Similarly, tapeworm. Tapeworm gets, when we eat some infected, like some dirty food, they go with the dirty food and they grow inside our intestine. Okay, so those tapeworm gets their growth only when they go inside our stomach or intestine. What they eat inside? They eat the nutrients that we eat. They take the nutrients from our gut and they grow. So parasites are two types, ectoparasites and endoparasites. Ecto means outside, endo means inside. So those parasites who get their food not without entering our body, like through the blood, they are called as ectoparasites. So we'll include mosquito and leech in that. And some are called as endoparasites. Endo means who get the food only after entering our body from the inner part of our body. They are called as endoparasites. So the example for endoparasites will be tapeworm, roundworm, hookworm. Okay, and in the case of ecto, we can include mosquito, we can add leech, we can add fleas, we can add lice. These are there. So there are three categories of animals. One is herbivorous, second one is carnivorous, third one is omnivorous. Some are scavengers, some are parasites. So I hope you all have understood the categories of animals with the examples. So learn the definition, learn the examples. Now the next topic is the food chain. Okay, so food chain is what? Now we have understood the types of categories. You know that in the picture you can see that this is the producer, this is the herbivorous, this is the omnivores. Now if in place of these humans we could have kept the picture of a lion, then the carnivorous. So food chain tells us that who eats what in the environment. Food chain tells us that who eats what in the environment. Now, and we all are dependent on each other. That means interdependence of organisms on each other. So what is food chain? The feeding relationship between the animals is called a food chain. A food chain shows the interdependence of organisms on each other, and always a food chain begin with the green plants. Because why we keep the first member of every food chain in the first position? Because the energy is trapped by the producer. The energy is also transferred, no, in the food chain. So when the deer eats the plant, the energy he gets from the plant. When humans eat the goat, it gets the energy which was stored in the goat's meat in their body. But where the energy starts to come in the food chain? From the sun. Sun is the ultimate source of energy for everybody. So what happens? The sun energy is trapped by the producer by the process of photosynthesis. That energy is transferred in the form of food to the goat, and from when the goat meat is eaten by the humans or any carnivorous, the energy which was stored in the meat of the goat is transferred to the next member of the food chain. Okay, so remember, always the first member of food chain is the producer and the last member will be always the carnivorous or the omnivorous. One more thing important I would like to tell you here is that we if any member of the food chain is missing in the environment, suppose if we take out all the goats from the environment, what will happen? Some of the animals who are dependent on the, or you can say if we include take away all the herbivores from the environment, what will happen? Whether the carnivorous will start eating the plants? No, never. So what will happen? If the goat or all the herbivores are removed from the ecosystem, the plants will increase in numbers because nobody is there to eat the plants. What will happen? The carnivorous will automatically die. Why? Because it will not start eating the plants. So to maintain the balance in the ecosystem, in the environment, we need each and every member of the food chain. Okay, we need every member of the food chain, and in a food chain there should not be more than 5 members. Like suppose plant eaten by the grasshopper, grasshopper is eaten by the frog, frog will be eaten by the, you say, a snake, snake is eaten by the eagle, eagle is eaten by a lion. Okay, why? Because when the energy transfer from one member to the another member of the food chain, the energy transferred is very less, only 10%. So what happens? If here 100 energy is there, 100 units of energy, only 10% will be transferred. So what will, only 10 will go. Here only 1 will go. Then 0.1, 1 by 10, then 1 by 100. So the energy transfer, the amount of energy which is transferred becomes lower and lower. So that is why more members should not be there in a food chain. One more thing. In the environment, we have a number of food chains available because we have so many organisms. So when these food chains are present in the environment, they are interconnected to each other. Such kind of interconnected food chains, they form a food web. This is a new thing for you which is not in the chapter. So what is a food web? Food web forms in the environment when there are number of food chains interconnected. They are called as food web. Okay, so like suppose how, like I will show you two food chain. One is produce, plant is there, then here goat is shown, but another one, plant is eaten by the, you can say, a grasshopper. Okay, now the grasshopper can be eaten by the frog also. Frog can be eaten by the, suppose in place of the humans, here it is, and the lion. So animals, the food chain, frog can be eaten by the eagle, eagle can be eaten by the lion. So two food chains are connected to each other. So in that way, the food web is formed in the environment. Okay, just to summarize, children, we will do the summary of the chapter. Food is important for nourishment, growth and development. Food are obtained from plants and animals. Animals can be herbivorous, carnivorous and omnivorous. Humans are omnivorous. Feeding relationships of the animals is called as the food chain. This is the summary of the chapter. What will we do now? You will do the multiple choice question and very short answers now. I will send a scan copy of both and immediately we will do it and we will discuss. Then we will do the short answer questions also today. Okay. Thank you children. Bye.